Hello, I'm here to complain, to rant, to whatever you like, to call what I'm about to do. You see, today I became very peeved at school over something which you may have guessed would peeve me, known as creationism. Creationism, the epitome of dogmatic stupidity, the ultimate in idiocy, and the display of exactly what is wrong with society. So let's think about creationism and its cheap counterpart, intelligent design. So here's what happened. In English class today, we were discussing, as we are about to read The Great Gatsby, we were discussing the 20s, so the Scopes trial arose. And the teacher did praise the permittance, the idea of permitting evolution to be taught, but unfortunately, it was within the context of the teach the controversy tripe that creationists have been spewing all these past 2 years. Now they're trying to, as teach the controversy has kind of been revealed to be a silly buzz phrase, pass it off as, what is the word they're using? Oh yes, academic freedom. Yes, just like we have the academic freedom in schools to teach that the Holocaust never happened, that heliocentricity of the solar system is false, and really all the objects in the universe revolve around the Earth, that the world is flat. I mean, it's just ridiculous to use academic freedom as an excuse for creationism, but she was saying that we should have, how to put this, that it's reasonable that some schools have a unit on evolution and one on intelligent design. No. Imagine if you taught the controversy on every issue. I mean, just think about this. Just try and picture it. Every historical issue, you have people who say that the event happened and the revisionists who say that it did not. Now, you can say, if we use the Holocaust as the best example, then someone can say, well, yeah, but there's more evidence showing that the Holocaust happened than that evolution happened, right? Wrong. I would assert, and I think I can get evidence to back it up, that evolution is better substantiated than just about anything else you'll learn in school, that it's an exquisite scientific theory, and that to deny its veracity is simply to willfully ignore a mountain of evidence. Now, if you want to willfully ignore a mountain of evidence, that's fine, but don't teach willful ignorance in science class. That is silly. That is dangerous, I would assert, because, well, when you've got a population that thinks that religious dogma, that the ideas of the majority, that the comfort of the majority trumps the evidence, then you're not going to create a very rational generation. You're not going to create a generation that can look at a problem objectively. You're not going to end up with a generation that can solve the next big scientific crisis, the generation that can solve our environmental problems, that can create new technology for us, that can do all these important things that need to be done. What you'll face is a generation that looks at a problem and thinks, what do I want to be true? What would be best for my morality if it was true? What would be best for my own personal comfort with the facts if it was true? And then decides to filter all the data through that. This is why science doesn't function as a democracy, it functions as a meritocracy. We don't give the ideas out and put them to a poll of the general population, which is why the teach the controversy idea is bogus. We put the ideas through rigorous peer review repeatedly. We ask that the results be verifiable, be replicable, and so that's how we do science. It's why it's the best path to truth. Democracy does not determine the truth, or as Orwell put it, sanity is not statistical. So that's really not how we do science, and the only reason that the creationist versus evolutionary biologist controversy even has a chance of ending up in schools as taught as a controversy rather than as people willfully ignoring the facts, is that there's not a large majority for most other forms of, or, well, it's not necessarily a majority, I haven't looked at the poll data, but there's not a large group of people with good lawyers who deny the other sorts of things we teach in school. There are people in the past who did deny it. For instance, our models of astronomy. There's obviously the Catholic Church's persecution of Galileo. That was an example where the majority of people thought that heliocentricity in the solar system was wrong. They thought it was blasphemous. They thought it was a violation of church doctrine. Some of them probably argued that teaching it would result in utter decay of moral values, just as is being asserted with evolution, just as has been asserted with evolution for so long. And if we ever get our students advanced enough that we can teach the Big Bang Theory, and I mean, we do teach it, but we don't teach it in enough detail because most students don't understand the necessary physics to get it. It's much easier to teach biology because there's no math involved. So, if we ever get around to teaching the Big Bang Theory in the public schools, there'll be another movement to try and teach an alternative. Ooh, what's your alternative? I know. A magic man did it. A magical man with superpowers who looked and saw nothing. And then he said, I want a bunch of minions to play with, but I'm going to give them free will. And then I am going to end up giving them the option to doom themselves to eternal torment through sin. And then, because I gave myself that caveat, I'm going to send down my son, who is really me, to be sacrificed to appease me. Oh, yes, that's so much more logical than a conclusion reached by looking at Doppler effects of galaxies and cosmic microwave background radiation clearly showing that a Big Bang occurred. Yeah, we've got to go with the supernaturalistic hypothesis there. That's what Occam's razor tells us. There's sure a controversy among the scientific community about that one. Darn, we got to spend 2 units on that. No, that's not how the world works. Just because there's a popular dogma that is contradicted by evidence doesn't mean that there's any real controversy about what the evidence says. I declare war!